All right. OpenAI just dropped some massive updates at Dev Day. And if you're a developer, this video might just change the way that you think about your career. Let's react to this code report breakdown and talk about what this means for devs, the tools we use, and why learning to code still matters today more than ever.
Yesterday at OpenAI Dev Day, Sam Altman walked on the stage in San Francisco and said, "Your entire tech stack is deprecated." That's not
So, just right off the back, your entire tech stack is deprecated. When Sam Altman says something like that, it's not just hype. He's signaling that everything about how we build software is evolving. OpenAI is trying to make ChatGPT not just a chatbot, but basically your new browser, your new platform, OS. Think of it like turning ChatGPT into your phone's operating system or your computer's operating system.
a direct quote, I'm just paraphrasing, but we have about a half dozen newly released features that will change the way developers build AI powered apps in the future. The biggest bet OpenAI is making is turning ChatGPT into an app platform, which means you no longer have to use old fashioned websites or mobile apps like a boomer. The goal is to make ChatGPT like an operating system that you're completely locked into. Imagine this: you want to play your favorite song on Spotify, like I'm Quitting Prozac to Continue Drinking by 19-year-old pop sensation Jimmy Brown. In the future, you no longer need to open the Spotify app and hit the play button. Instead, you can simply open the ChatGPT app and type out an awkward prompt to tell ChatGPT to push the button for you. Looks like
So, this part's kind of wild. ChatGPT's becoming your interface to everything. No more clicking apps, just prompting. Imagine saying, "Hey GPT, play my favorite playlist," or order my favorite groceries. But there's the catch, right? Whoever builds the best integrations into the system will own the future of app development.
the future of AI is going to skip the great robot war of 2029 prophesized in Terminator and go straight to the year of 2505 prophesized in Idiocracy.
So, funny joke, but the truth is the simpler the interface, the more power shifts from the coder to the prompter, and that's something huge.
Plenty of tards out there living really kick-ass lives.
But developers who ride the ChatGPT app's wave early stand to make tons of money from the massive distribution opportunity of their 800 million weekly active users. But apps in ChatGPT isn't the most interesting announcement. You also need to know about AgentKit, codecs with GitHub Actions, new models for poor people, and some big updates to the API. It is October 7th, 2025, and you're watching the Code Report. First, let's talk more about apps in ChatGPT. Remember GPT plugins from a couple years ago? They died. Then they tried a slight variation, GPTs, but they're also pretty much dead. And now they're trying apps in ChatGPT because the third time's a charm, right? Right now it's only being trialed by big apps you probably recognize, and I think it could work really well for things like Zillow. Like this guy paid his realtor $50,000 for this $1 million home in San Francisco, when in reality, ChatGPT could have done a better job faster. However, I'm also pretty bearish on apps in ChatGPT because
So, that's the key debate right there. Will ChatGPT apps actually replace traditional UIs? I think not entirely. Developers will still be needed to create structured systems, APIs, and maintain logic behind these prompts. Prompt-based UX is cool, but scalability still requires real engineers.
in most cases, I'd rather just use an app's UI than rope in a chatbot to overcomplicate things. The next thing you should know about are updates to the OpenAI API. Both Sora 2 and GPT-5 Pro are now available in the API, which means you can start lighting money on fire trying to build your own AI-powered enshittification accelerator. Sora 2 costs 50 cents per 1 second of high-quality video, or about $1,800 to swap out a 1 hour movie that nobody's going to watch. In addition, if you're implementing voice or image generation features, there's now two smaller models that are far less expensive than the
So like for Sora 2, for video generation is next level, but $1,800 for an hour of content shows how early we still are. The big takeaway for devs, understand how to use these APIs efficiently. Cost optimization and creativity will be a new coding superpower.
alternatives. Pretty cool, but one of the greatest life hacks for developers is to stop wasting time on code reviews. OpenAI just released a GitHub action for Codex that will automatically review code quality every time you make a new PR on GitHub. And not just that,
So automatic code reviews from OpenAI, that's huge. Think about it, right? AI is now watching your pull requests for bugs, security issues, and documentation gaps, but that doesn't replace code understanding. You still need to know what good code looks like, evaluate what the AI gives you. That's really important.
but you could also use it to scan for security flaws, write documentation, and a bunch of other stuff. The coolest thing announced yesterday, though, is AgentKit, a unified set of tools where developers can build, deploy, and optimize agents. Just a few days ago, I was talking about how awesome N8N was as a Zapier alternative. Well, now AgentKit drops as the N8N alternative for building AI apps. It gives you a flowchart style canvas where you can implement the logic for your app without stitching together a bunch of code manually. On one hand, this tool has a lot of potential because it gives non-engineers the ability to build non-trivial apps. But on the other hand, no-code tools like this always have a complexity ceiling that eventually requires a real human programmer to come in and tear the entire thing down and build it properly with actual code. In any case, it's a legit new tool that you should have on your radar. Speaking of which, you
So, AgentKit, that's a massive one. It's basically the Zapier for AI. Developers who learn to build and deploy agents, not just static apps, are gonna lead the next wave for sure. But remember, even the best no code tools hit a wall eventually. When that happens, you'll still need developers who can code their way past it.
also need to know what JetBrains is up to, the sponsor of today's video.
Okay, I mean, that's just an ad, right? So where does this leave us? Taking all this in, OpenAI is creating tools that make building apps faster, smarter, and more accessible. But real innovation still requires creativity, logic, and a technical understanding of code, right? So knowing how to code isn't just about typing syntax, it's about problem solving. And these tools are just amplifiers for those who already know how to think like developers. And that's what you should really take away from all these tools that are being brought out. So yeah, in the future of development, AI is powering a lot of pretty much all the tools we're going to be using. But don't let it scare you, right? Let it inspire you because those who learn how to code and how to collaborate with AI, those are the developers who are going to own the next decade.